Because I Could Not Stop for Death by Emily Dickinson. Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The courage healed but just ourselves and immortality. We slowly drove. He knew no haste, and I had put away my labor and my leisure too, for his civility. We passed the school where children strove at recess in the rain. We passed the fields of gazing grain. We passed the setting sun, or rather, he passed us. The Jews drove, quivering in trio, for only gossamer my gown, my tippet only jewel. We paused before a house that seemed a swelling of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible, the cornice in the ground. Since then, that's centuries, and yet feel shorter than the day I first surmised. The horses' heads were towards eternity. Hi guys, Assalamualaikum. I am Siti Aina Magay, and I chose the poem Because I Could Not Stop for Death by Emily Dickinson. So, for me, the poem is really a masterpiece. There are a lot of literary pieces that I've read, but this one really catches my attention. This poem teaches us the inevitability of death and our calm acceptance of the death. So in here, the idea of death is boldly treated without any of the emotions of fear, anxiety, or pain that usually any person does that do or did. In Islamic view, as a Muslim, all of us will face death, and just because you're young, you're healthy, it doesn't mean that death would come to you. Death has no age, and we all should be prepared for it. In the poem, in the lines, we can conclude that it revolves around death and immortality. And for us Muslims, believing in the afterlife or the immortality in the afterlife is one of the faith, or it belongs to the 6 articles of faith in Islam. And in this poem that is written by Emily, death is personified as a friend, or a gentle friend who is taking the point in a courage ride to eternity, and the life after that is seen as an eternal journey. So in here we can conclude the acceptance of death. Yes, we can see it in the lines. Because in here the death is directly linked with a man's life on earth, and a man must accept death without any protest or resentment, because death will always or come to you, because in the end it is the end of a man's life on earth. And also the author perfectly at ease in the company of death, which taking her to eternity. She doesn't feel any fear of death. She also, instead, she praises death for her much less civility. Yes. So in the poem, my favorite line is the because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The courage held but just ourselves and immortality. So I really love this line because it presents death not as abstraction but a concrete reality. So in here, death is personified as a lover. Yes, a lover, which frees a man from the troubles of the material life or the earth life. It leads him to eternity. So the poem describes a spiritual journey that takes a person to eternity. So in these lines, my favorite line, it says that a man never bothers to think about death in his life, because a man's fate is a link with death, which comes to all sooner or later in life. And because death is not the end, because life is continued after death. And uh, death is unavoidable, and a man has to give up his work or rest without any notice. Also, we can see that the Emily, or the author, sat in the chariot of death. She described it, and there are three passengers in there: the author, death, and immortality. And we can include as the author as ourselves. So death and immortality have been personified significantly in the poem as two gentlemen that we all should be meet along our journey. So that's all. Thank you.